myself and know what you guys are thinking. Porn on the big TV. No, not at all. I decided to do a live feed. The wife and kid are at the ice rink. And you guys are currently sitting on. Sorry, you spun around. I gotta make my coffee. You guys are currently sitting on my coffee, so I had to move you for a second. I forgot to put coffee in the cup, in the Keurig cup. I've been trying real hard to limit myself to 1 cup of coffee a day. Can't find the lid. Jeremy Morris. Or Jeremy Russell, sorry, Jeremy. I was thinking of Jeremy Morris because I have a picture of him and his wife hanging up on my refrigerator. Well, hello, Sean. Guys, I'm doing another major adult thing. Native Wild Man, I am in the process of selling my house. I just got the I want to take cabinet doors with me. Because the thing is, how many of my videos, the thumbnail is this. It's gonna be something new. I wanted to mention, though, before we start any of this, what kind of day today is. Today is, in case you happen to watch this in the future, today's Martin Luther King Day, and I think it's only appropriate that we take a minute to recognize the achievements of that incredible, incredible man. So just remember that if you're having barbecues today on Martin Luther King Day because you're not working, it's not about that. If you're just having fun because you got a day off, remember what it's about. So 3 people, 5 people, 6 people, 3 people. I don't ever understand how these live feeds work. I just think that the algorithm doesn't actually know how many people are here. You know what I need to do, though, for a second? First, I need to pay attention to how much water I'm putting in this thing. Hold up. Hang on a second. I want to make sure I turned off. I had to make sure I turned off my Wi-Fi. Sorry about that, because I would have lost you. I don't have Wi-Fi in the kitchen. I'm trying to limit myself to 1 cup of coffee a day because I am currently on hiatus from everything. Actually, that's not true. I had a couple beers last night. Somebody sent me some. They sent me like a quart of beer through the 7-Eleven app. I've got a friend that does that. So, so I did have the equivalent to a couple beers last night, but everything else is on hiatus because I want to save some money. You know, recreational activities are expensive, and I'm not getting paid right now. So, we are selling the house. We basically have buyers lined up to look at the place this coming Saturday. So I'm really sore. My shoulders hurt. I spent the entire day just scrubbing stuff, and I don't necessarily like the job that the steam mop thing we have does, and I wanted to make sure the floor was like perfectly clean. I was on my hands and knees all day yesterday with a scrubby sponge and spray and wipe and scrub the entire floor because I want it to be pristine when these people come. And so today I'm just going to do the regular mopping and just cleaning and things like that. So clean the entire bathroom. Our stove, the only thing I have problem is this stove is so old. It looks kind of crappy. So what's everybody that's here doing on Martin Luther King Day? And no interactions. If you guys aren't going to talk to me, I'm not going to keep doing this. This is the whole point is us talking. So what's going on? Bradley's here. I saw that. Yeah, it's going to be quick. Doing nothing. How are you doing, Robert? I know that you had some stuff going on in your personal life. How are you doing? Sharpening a knife for a customer. No. You better not have started a sharpening service, Mr. Russell. You ever wondered what a bench red crooked river handle would look like with a cleaver blade in it? That's what I love about it. That's why I like this knife. Ace, what's up? I like this. This knife is so much fun to carry. I am doing fine. I called my best friend. He is back in Missouri. My best friend Clint. You guys remember seeing Clint in some of my videos before? I called my best friend and I was like, "What are you doing?" He was in his truck at lunch. He's an electrician at a factory. I called him. I was like, "Yeah, we're selling the house." And he goes, "Oh, what's up with that?" I was like, "Oh, the wife left me." And he's like, "I don't believe you." I was like, "Why don't you believe me?" He's like, "I know how much you love that woman." He's like, "You would have had a complete and utter come apart." He's like, "I wouldn't have gotten a call from you. I would have gotten a call from one of our mutual friends telling me you had drank yourself to death last night." He's like, "I know you." He's like, "You're not that nonchalant about it." He's like, "You would have been she left," and I was like, I can't argue that one. So, but it is a true statement. We are okay. Now we have three things. I have a now. Let me show you something that my wife does. We have three things of half and half in the refrigerator. One of them's open, but she doesn't put stuff in stock order as to which are. This is the newest. I just don't want to open the older of the two. I just want to open the newer of the two and then have one go bad. Half and half lasts a long time though, and I didn't even need to. I don't even have to open the. It's kind of day it's gonna be. So I have stuff in for sharpening from customers. I probably am not going to sharpen it today. I have got to get this house ready for people to come look at on. Yeah, when your friends know you well. We have people coming Saturday. So the knives that just showed up on Saturday, we're probably not gonna get to. I want to clean everything. I'm cleaning cupboards. I'm cleaning walls. I'm cleaning the spots where the dog rubs up against the molding and the backside of here where I had at one point I had some. I used to eat breakfast at this counter. I'll show you. You can see it. There's like this counter. This kitchen counter comes around. Oh, no, you can't see it. It comes around like this. And you can see here, I had, this is where I would eat here. I had a couple of those, well, I had a couple of those bar stools. And I just basically sat there and it left some markings on the wall and stuff like that. And I'm going to get that stuff all cleaned up before they come. Because we're selling a house as is. We can get more than I paid for it without having to repair anything, without repainting, without doing anything. So, yeah, so the venue of our videos, hopefully in the very near future, is going to change. And I'm not going to lie to you, it's not like I don't like living here and things like that. Okay, that's a lie. I don't like living here. I don't like the direction the community is going with. And I don't mean it's not like people have moved in or anything like that. I just don't like the financial direction that this neighborhood is going with all the things that I see being the HOA president. And I'm like, you know what? I'm out. That Keurig makes the hottest coffee. I wish I had a temperature setting. I had a really good coffee pot at one point that had a temperature setting on it. And it broke, and I haven't seen one. Like, you could adjust the temperature of the not just, the temperature that comes out of the pot, the hot plate. You could adjust how hot that coffee was by sitting on the hot plate. And it was great because my wife likes hot. My wife will take water that is almost boiling and be like, nah, it's not hot enough. She'll throw her tea bags and stuff in and then put it in, and she won't pull the water for her tea out until it's like bubbling violently, and then she puts it back in the microwave after she puts in her creamer. And I'm like, she made some coffee for me the one time. I was like, I can't drink it. You get a mouthful of, you're, ah, burned my tongue. I was like, how do you drink coffee and tea that hot? If we had an Insta boiler, like one of those things that just pours straight boiling water, she'd stick her mouth up under it. Just make tea in her mouth. Mark, good morning. So, yeah, so here's the plan. We're going to sell the house because it's worth way more than I paid for it here a few years ago. Almost twice what I paid for it. I'm going to cash out that equity I've got in the house, put it in our savings account. I'm going to, the market is really high right now, so I'm going to wait a couple years. When the market drops, I'll buy another place because I can just get another VA loan, which means I don't even have to put a down payment. I just go pick a place and say, hey, I want that house, give me the loan. And since we have a really high credit rating, because I always pay my bills, we shouldn't have a problem getting a fairly low interest rate loan through the VA. So it's just one of those things that just financially makes sense. My wife doesn't like this house. I will say that. My wife thinks the kitchen, she doesn't like the kitchen. I would love to. We actually talked about moving to Texas. I'd have to convert my business license. I'm in the process of converting my business to a DVBE here in California that will make me a lot more money. It doesn't make sense for us to move right now. My daughter has access to Olympic level coaches. The Olympic Training Center is literally 7 miles from my house. Actually, it might be. It's 7 miles from Matt's house, which means it's 12 miles from my house. She has access to like 6 ice rinks, several different skating clubs. She has access to Olympic coaches, the Olympic team doctors. She's on the U.S. figure skating team, so she has access to those things. I just can't. The things that the savings in money that I would have by going to Texas would be completely overpowered by the facts, those other things like, skating and all of that. And my wife has friends here. My wife likes it here. There's a large Japanese community here. My wife has friends here. If we move to Texas, I take all of that away from her. So I mean, we're gonna talk about it in the future. We do have some friends in the Dallas area, and so we've talked about it. But just right now though, the business thing, I have an opportunity to really, really make this business start making money through that DVBE process, which there'll still be knife stuff going on, but basically I'll be working with construction companies. So I'm changing the business model completely. So it's going to be interesting for all of us on this channel as we do these things. This is one of those things that like the subscribers that have followed from the beginning, they've only ever seen this. I have honestly can tell you, I have lived in this house longer than I've ever lived in any house in my life. I was 6 years old when we moved. I was 17 when I joined the Navy. So that's 11 years. I've lived in this house officially. This year is 12 years. I lived in my parents' house. We moved when I was like 6. So I moved out when I was 17 and joined the Navy. So I lived in my parents' house in Fresno, Ohio for 11 years. I've lived in this house for 12. It's officially the longest I've ever lived in one place in my entire life. Because it was military. I mean, even when I was in Japan, I lived in an apartment for a couple years, and I moved to a different house, and then I moved to another apartment, and then we moved in a house, and then I lived in Tokyo area. That house was great. I miss that place. We had access to everything when we lived up near Tokyo. We lived in Yokohama area, and I mean, we could walk right out the gate of housing, get on a bus, go right down the hill, and no, absolutely not. We go right down the hill to a little sushi place, and we'd eat, and we'd take the bus right back up, walk back to the house. We could take the bus to downtown Yokohama, to the Yokohama station. And I mean, we never went to like around Yokohama all that much. We would go to Yokohama station because all the things we wanted to do were right around the train station. Bus would drop us off. We'd get off the bus. We'd go to our favorite little restaurant, which was up on the top floor. It was a place called Garlic Joe's. And then we would go to all the little shops around, the electronics shops, and like the little, even inside the train station. It was like a shopping mall, and there's so much stuff that we could do. And like my wife and I talk about it. That was probably the time we spent together. I mean, my ship was always gone, but the time we spent together while we were there, we did like the most fun stuff in our marriage when we were in the Yokohama area. Because I mean, we had like a little bar and restaurant on the at the housing area. There was a little grocery store there. Everything we wanted to do was just within like 10, 15 minutes. And we just went and did stuff. Chinatown, we would go down to take the bus down to China. We didn't drive. I drove to and from work. That was it. That's the nice thing about Japan. Their public transportation system is insanely good. We would just go and say, hey, let's go down to Chinatown and eat. And we went to the Chinese restaurants with my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law when they would come up and visit. And we would go to this place that made these huge steamed beef buns. I know you've probably seen them. They call them nikuman in Japan. And so it's this steamed bun that's just filled with beef and onions and all this stuff. Oh, they're so delicious. And they had these ones that were usually they're like this big. There's just these little things that you would see like a steamed beef bun at like a Chinese restaurant. These were the size of like a dinner plate, and they were like that thick, and 3 people. You cut it into like 3 or 4 pieces, and it's all you would need. And mango, they had this mango ice cream that we'd go and get down at Chinatown. So I mean, it was just really fun. And now we're my wife's excited because that was the fun thing. We were always moving when we first got married. We were always transferring to different places and doing different things, meeting different people. And I was going places. Like my wife came and flew into Singapore one time to meet me when the ship was in port. So we got to do all those things. And this is kind of exciting for us because we're kind of recapturing that. We're like, we're moving. This was always fun. You know, this was the exciting new journey kind of thing. I realize it's not a new journey. It's just exciting to do it. Jiggly cheesecake. I remember people talking about it, but I don't ever remember getting it. We don't know yet. The plan is, see, here's the thing. We are buying this house on what's called a contingent sale, which means that we're going to need the money, and then we have up to like 3 to 6 months, depending on how we work it and the couple that is interested in this place. Like 3 to 6 months we have that we can rent the property back from the new buyer because they live with family. They're not in a rush. And so that takes that level of stress off of us. So we have like 3 to 6 months to look for a place to rent. So we're not sure. We want to move closer to my daughter's ice skating. That would put me closer to Chris and Elliot's shop. I want to get here's the thing. I always joke, happy wife, happy life. I always joke, I don't care about that crap. We married for 19 years. My wife's not happy in this house. And I've tried to do things, but the fact is, I don't have the money to do the things that she wants to do to this house. So now we have an opportunity to make a buttload of money and not have to spend it to fix this, and just go and find someplace where she likes it. And because we're renting, if we decide we don't like it, a year or so later, we find a different place. I liked the idea. That's the American dream, owning your home, right? Owning your own home. Hey, what's up? I was just talking to Justin. That's Justin Lair from Fiberlight Firestarter. Guys, if you need Fiberlight Firestarter, if you don't know you need it, you need it. You definitely do. Justin, I keep telling you, man, those nuggets, they're not nuggets, man. Those are Fiberlight Fireballs. Fiberlight Fireballs, they'll fly off the shelves. But at any rate, what I was saying is, the American dream of owning a home, I don't really necessarily know if I like it. Once I bought this house, I basically was renting it from a much less forgiving landlord. And the fact was that landlord doesn't come fix the stove when it breaks. And that landlord doesn't come fix a window when it gets broken. That landlord doesn't give a crap if your AC works or your heater or your furnace. When you rent, that landlord has to take care of those things. I'm like, we wanted to buy a house and we talked about it and it would be ours. And I'm like, this is my house. And it was cool at first, but the burdens of home ownership, I'm not sure I like it. You know, that's been the American dream, but my question is why? Like I bought this house. This house was like 30 years old when I bought it. I bought it as is. We'd been living in it for we'd been living in it for 9 years or so when we bought it from our landlord. And now I've got all these things that have to be done and I don't have the money for it. And I found somebody that's willing to buy a house at market price without us having to do any of that. And then when we rent a place, it takes so much stress off. And my wife will be happy. She can pick out what she wants. Her thing is the kitchen. My wife very rarely leaves the kitchen. I can think of the only time I can really think of it is like on Christmas morning when we're all in the living room and my daughter's opening gifts, because my wife and I really don't get each other gifts. We got her, my daughter and I got her a gift, so it was basically for my daughter. My daughter and my wife got me a gift, which was basically a gift for my daughter. But that's how we spend our Christmas, as we go in, you saw it. But my wife sits out here, this is her spot. She stays right there. She watches Japanese TV on the computer online. My daughter uses the living room as a CrossFit gym and hangs out and does stuff on hers. And I've basically turned my bedroom into a man cave. You guys have got to see what my buddy got me for Christmas. Justin's already seen it. If Justin, are you still here? So if you guys remember, I told you I worked 5-inch gun systems for the United States Navy. So you guys already know, here, let's turn this around. So you guys already know that I have the blue neon beer sign. And you can already see it. So my buddy went to Gunbusters and got me we'll take it out here, a replica 5-inch round. But I also have a cousin that bought me this, which is a gun holder. And my wife has been completely cool. There's my little arcade. There's this. Which is it's basically a coin slot. I have not made the bed yet. And you can see I'm still vacuuming and doing stuff, trying to get stuff. But she has never complained about my little medieval armory that I have here. So now, my buddy, who was stationed with me, got me this replica 5-inch round. This is what it would. This seam would not be as pronounced, but you would see a seam. You got your rotating band, or also known as barrelet. Even the fuse with the point net delay, which is, if I get a hold of it, you can remove it. I'm not going to say it, but at any rate, he got me that. The markings are correct. The weight is listed correctly. The unclassified range of that round is 13 nautical miles. The unclassified range of a 5-inch gun system is 13 nautical miles. And it depends, you have different powder charges and things like that. So you're firing a 70, they're between 70 and 72 pounds. It depends on which round. Some rounds are heavier, because there are some like bunker busters. That one, it would be considered a bunker buster, and it doesn't have as much weight. You have some rounds, airburst rounds. It just depends on the round, and you have different powder charges you fire with it. So weight and your powder charge all does that stuff. It affects those things, but 13 miles is about it. So you're firing a 70-pound projectile at twice the speed of sound for 13 miles, whose impact is associated with a bright light, a loud noise, and a rapid going away of things. It's a fun job. But yeah, he got that for me. He's a senior chief now. He worked for me God, it makes me feel so old. He worked for me when I was a brand new first class, brand new E6. Uh, and then I was on shore duty. And so I transferred to a ship and I was he went 5 inch and I was doing 5 inch. I had done 3 inch 50 and stuff like that. Actually, you can ask Justin because Justin was a Marine. That's pretty much, if I remember correctly, our shipboard gun, and I think we've talked about it, shipboard gun and a 155 howitzer are just about the same. I think they just fire a different manner of projectile. They're the same. They're about the same. So it's basically an artillery. It's for shore bombardment. You can use it for ship self defense, for air defense, and you can use it for ship self defense out to. I mean, there's a limit. You have to be with if a target that gets too close for a 5 inch gun system, it just won't work. You can't use it. That's why you have smaller gun systems like the 22 or the 25 millimeter Bushmaster belt, chain cannon and stuff like that. So it just depends. There are some surface engagement rounds that they make for that. They're called the Keet round, KEET, kinetic energy electrically timed. So picture that round with a really thin outer shell filled with tungsten BBs. And in the center of it is a small charge just designed to split that round open. And it's got an electrically timed fuse on it. And so it goes out and it's for surface engagements against small vessels. And what it does is the round goes out as the round. So it goes out this way and it goes in a straight line. And at a point before the target, the charge goes off, splits that open. And you've got, I think that there's 4,000 tungsten BBs inside that thing, 4 or 6,000 of them, almost double up buck size. And it splits that casing open, and now they're all going at twice the speed of sound, and it's just kinetic energy. There's no real explosive charge, and we called it a cone of death because nothing inside that area is going to survive. It's just going to destroy everything. And that was a surface engagement round, and we saw them use them. You can look it up. Look up 5 inch 54 KEET round, and they've got videos of it, and it just destroys surface targets. It was meant for small crafts. When stuff started happening, Somali pirates and things like that were taking over ships, they designed that round for that because that gets you a little bit of time and you can engage those targets better than that round and some of the other rounds. You fire it and you got to be right on. Well, the problem with small craft is they're fast movers. By the time you fire that round, by the time it gets where it's going, it's not that boat's not going to be there. So with that cone, it gives you a chance. Like they can avoid that. They see you firing and they start moving. They can't avoid that because it literally cuts a swath that you cannot get out of. And you figure you're firing forward and aft, both guns on consolidated target firing. You're bringing those cones in. It's really hard to get away from. So that gives you a little bit of a buffer for you to get what's called the SCAT team, which is the I guess small arms crews go up and I can't remember what SCAT stood for, but that's when you start manning your surface engagement guns, your 50 cals, your 240s, your 25 millimeter chain guns, all those things. And then you're defending the ship that way. It's a ship self-defense, small arm self-defense crew. And so, because that 5 inch gun system's only, even with the Keet round, it was only effective to a certain distance. It had to be out a certain distance before it would be effective. Anything in close, the gun only, the barrel only depresses so far. So, sorry guys, it was a fun job. And I get it. I get into it. We start talking about it, and I get into it. It's so much fun being inside that gun when it's fired. I went to. If you follow me on Full 30, probably already saw it. I put up a video of going to Jake Ginsburg's shop He's a local knife maker here. That video will be up Tuesday. Actually, I don't think I put that video all the way up on Full 30. At any rate, Tuesday, that video will be up for you guys to watch. I went up to Jake's house. Jake's a nut, and like he's a lot of fun. The first time I saw a picture of him, I'm like, I don't know about this kid. He's got tattoos on his face and stuff. One of the straightest laced kids I've ever met, and he's just a good kid. And he's a lot of fun. He's hilarious. He's got a sense of humor a lot like mine. We get along. I told him, I was like, man, Jake, I'm glad I met you. And I was like, I got tired of being the only weird dude in the room sometimes. Like, I got tired of being the weirdest dude in the room all the time. I was like, having two of us that weird, it makes it more fun. So, yeah. I got stuff lined up for videos. I'm gonna have to completely reshoot that Prolix video. I was not happy with it. Mainly the audio. I've been trying, I still have not learned to just cut my losses yet. I've been trying to repair the audio and do voiceover, and I have not learned yet that there's times you should just cut your losses and just refilm it. So that's probably, because my shoulders hurt, I'm gonna do as little as I can with the cleaning. 2K lovers in a steam room. You know what? Making people uncomfortable is one of my favorite things in the world. Like, I will find something that makes you uncomfortable, and I will do it constantly. Like, every time you see me. Like, if you let me know that something is uncomfortable for you, I will continue to do it until it's no longer uncomfortable for you. I had a kid that worked for me that was kind of homophobic, and I immediately realized that was his little play button. Like, that's the one that could do it. And so I would do things like I would catch him at a computer where he's like, the computer desks in the Navy that we had, the old school, remember the old school monitors? They were still the tube type monitors, not the flat screen monitors. So these things had this table, which was glass, and the monitor sat underneath it at an angle and was strapped in. And then the keyboard slid out, and you sat with your knees up under, basically to the monitor, and the tower was mounted. And it was also that you could, if no one's using the computer, you could stack things on it. It was more secure. Monitors didn't fall over and things like that. And so every time I would catch him on the computer, I would come up behind him, knowing you can't have chairs with wheels in the Navy. That's silly. He can't just roll away. And I would get him, like, I would come up behind his chair and I would lift my leg up over the back of the chair and slide in behind him and just lean on him. And I'd be like, what you writing there? What you got going on there? And he's like, please, man, get off me. I can feel your junk on my back. And I just lean on him. I was like, what you working on? Are you working on that for me? Oh, that's cool. And like, he's in here. I was like, look, you got a man jacket. By the time I left, that kid, I broke all of it. I had broke all of his homophobic fucking don't touch me, don't be around me. I don't like people around me. I don't like guys close. I had broke all of those little things, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it made he got to a point where he found it hilarious. And that's like, people would say that's hazing, but it's not, because I'm gonna tell you that I had such a tight relationship with those guys that I worked with. And people are like, oh, that's hazing. You can't do that. I'm like, you take that away and you break some of, like, I do admit hazing, like the beating and the fucking horrible things that get done that they call hazing, that are truly hazing. Yeah, I don't approve of those. But the little things that you do that build those bonds between you and your friends, they never break. I've got friends in the military that I can talk to, like guys that I haven't talked to in years. And you run into them, and it's like nothing ever changed. It's like a day has never passed. You run into friends. I got a friend that he's a SEAL now, and actually, he worked for me when he was younger, and now, and we played practical jokes on each other, horrible practical jokes on each other, and it just made for bond. It made a much tighter knit crew and friends. But I got a friend that worked for me when he was younger, and he became a SEAL, and then he got injured, so now he has a Purple Heart. He's got a Purple Heart license plate. I saw him at the commissary, and I walked up, and I was like, hey, bro, how's it going? When did you get the Enemy Marksmanship Award? And he was like, Oh, dude. I saw a guy with a Purple Heart license plate here in California. I don't know who he is, but he has a license plate that says DUK, the letter 2, the number 2, the letter L, and the number 8. And I was like driving, and I was like, I saw the Purple Heart, and I saw the plate, and I was like, that's gotta mean duck too late. God damn, me and that guy could be friends. And I was like, that's, what was it? Justin just said something. We used to make the new guy run across the flight deck. I used to wait until we had a new guy, and I would be in the shower, and I would watch to see when he got out of the shower. I'd just jump in the shower. People get out of the way, like, Guns is gonna do it. He's gonna fuck with this new guy. And they already knew that he'd already met me. He'd already checked in. He knew I had to work with me. And I would go in and I wouldn't take my towel. Hey, what's up, Steve? And when he would get out of the shower, I'd jump out of the shower and I'd be like, hey, what's up, man? And I would fucking walk naked in front of the hand dryer. We had an air hand dryer. Push the button and just stand there like, what's up, bro? How's it going? Drying my ass and balls and shit. And people are like brushing their teeth and shaving and shit. And they're like, hey, what's up, GM1? Just acting like it was perfectly normal. And that's just how you let the new guy know that he was working for a dude that was pretty weird. But I always made sure those guys had fun. I'd go out, party with the guys, hang out, buy them drinks, take kids out and do stuff with them. It was always, when we were at work, I worked hard. When we had time, we played hard. But the guys were always like, hey man, go out with GM1, he's a lot of fun. He's like, just don't expect him to like participate in some of the stuff. Like he'll take you out and get you drunk and let you find a girl, but he'll still be at the bar drinking when you get done because that motherfucker don't cheat. So yeah, it was just a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I honestly can say I had some of the best kids in the fucking world ever that worked for me at some of these. I mean, you get one or two bad ones, but like the kids that did work for me and they were good. They weren't just good. They were great. The one thing the captain asked me one time when I transferred off a ship. And the captain was like, "What can I do for you?" He said, "Let me take my guys with me." And he's like, "Well, Guns, I can't do that one." He's like, "I can't do that one." So, anyway, we've done a lot of that. We haven't talked about any knives. I saw that somebody said there was Cold Steel. Now we get to comments. Cold Steel what? Talwar? Was that I can't remember what the Talwar was. Was that a... Talwar, was that like the kukri? I can't remember. And I normally would look it up on my phone, but currently you guys are on my phone, and I don't want to pause this. Which one was the Talwar, Justin? Oh, yeah, I didn't like that one. I'm not a fan of Persians. Persian blades. Persian blades. I shouldn't say that. Somebody's like, he's racist. He doesn't like Persians. No, I don't like Persian-style blades. There we go. On this cup that says, F your sensitivity? Yeah, you may have. You may have seen that. It was a gift from a friend. That was it's a Black Rifle coffee cup. Black Rifle Coffee Company cup that a friend of mine brought back from a trip. And I like it because it pretty much just sums up, well, pretty much just sums me up. Do you know the best thing about being able to shoot videos on Full 30? I don't know how many of you guys have actually gotten to talk to me in person. I have a real hard time shooting these videos because I don't know if you've noticed. Live feeds every once in a while have one that gets demonetized because I have a potty mouth. I mean, I don't know if you guys have noticed this in the background of my videos, but this hangs on my refrigerator. And so I also have one over there that's somewhere that says, there it is. It hangs up my VFW listing of all the VFW These are all the VFWs in my area that serve food. And they do a good job of it. These are the kind of things that hang on my refrigerator at my house. So my videos sometimes get demonetized. And so to prevent that, I try really, really, really hard in the videos that I film not to curse. You guys don't see how much actual filming happens because I had been saving a bunch of B-roll stuff, but I realized it's kind of hard to do the B-roll because you see the same stuff over and over. I may do it if you guys, the members got some of the B-roll footage. And it was fun, but I'd rather just not use it because it just takes up space, because by the time I compile enough of it to make a video, I've got like so many things saved on my phone, and then it's hard to go back and find them. Full 30, I can say whatever I want. I don't have to censor myself. So if I want to drop F-bombs in a video, I can. I'm probably going to try to limit it because, you know, I do get it. There's some people that's off-putting and they might watch... I watch videos with my kid around, and so I don't necessarily, as much as I don't censor myself around my child, if she says it and it's my fault, I'm good with that. But if she hears somebody else say something and repeats it, I'm going to be upset. That might sound hypocritical, but at least if I know that she's saying it because she's heard me say it, then that's on me. It's getting bright in here. Better put my glasses on. I have decided, since there are so many people who have said that they like these, I do believe I have 2 pairs of these. I'm going to give a pair of these away. And you can also be the TMS Bandit, because I'm going to give these away as a set. Just an announcement. That's going to be... January's been rough. It's probably not going to be a January giveaway. It's going to... I know the guys that own this company. These actually, you can see through them. They are just basically a pair of tinted Ray-Bans that have... They're not Ray-Bans. They're like the Wayfarer style with a sticker on them. And you can see through them. I would not advise driving with them, but if you just want something goofy, there's a mask and a pair of glasses. You can be the TMS Bandit because I have 2 of these complete sets. I will wash the mask before I send it. So that's probably going to be, you know, it's already the middle of January. I still have not done the Stonefish giveaway. I am going to do that today. Gary Graham, if you watch these videos still, you won the Fixed Blade giveaway for December, for the 5,000 member, and I have not heard from you. If I don't hear from him before the end of this week, I'm going to pick a new winner. So stand by for that, guys. That Fixed Blade, that custom Fixed Blade, I may have to pick a new winner from that group. So just keep an eye on it. I haven't gotten an email. I've gotten nothing. I've checked my spam filters. I've checked my trash. I haven't gotten a response on YouTube. So, you know, that's like only time you can ever really see this scar clearly is when it's on video. People are like, you were in the military. You don't have, he's like, you didn't get in bar fights and stuff. You don't have like the scars. I'm like, guys, if you really look, like I've got a lot of significant scars on my face. I just don't get the ugly purple scars. I heal and don't scar badly. So that was a good one. That was a good one. That was a good one. That one's been there for a while. Let me finish this. I had a guy I worked for. Had this big, ugly scar. Went from the corner of his mouth all the way up his cheek to his cheekbone. And it looked like somebody had just put a knife in his mouth and yanked it out. And I was like, my God. So I worked for this guy, and we were sitting together at a class that we had to go to. It was just on one side, though. It went from like, and it was just a really clean, it wasn't hooked. It was like a clean cut, but it was wide like that one is. And I'm sitting there and I was like, there were spots that were wide, like down here, and then it thinned out. And I was like, I got to ask. And we're sitting there and we're in a class together. And I'm sitting next to him, and I looked at him and was like, "Sir," and he had been prior enlisted, so he's what in the military we call Mustangs. So he was prior enlisted and then became an officer. And I looked at him, and I was like, "Sir, I've been meaning to. It's just the two of us. We're sitting there. No one had showed up yet. We showed up early because we were on TAD orders. Everybody else was local. We were on TAD orders. So I had to ride with him. We had one rental car. I was like, I gotta ask, dude, how did you get that scar, sir? And looks at me and he goes, eating pussy. I was like, come on, man. He's like, no, this time it's true. And I was like, he's like, I wasn't eating it, but he was like, I was young and dumb, and he talked like he'd been eating soda cans. He's like, I was young and dumb, and I went with this chick to her house. I knew she was married, and her husband came home. And they had this ceramic lamp, and he goes, I was busy, and I didn't hear him come in, and he smashed that lamp over my face, and that ceramic cut me from here to my lip when he smashed that lamp across my head. And I was like, Jesus. I was like, oh my God. He goes, yeah. He's like, I'm lucky he didn't kill me. I was like, God, Jesus. And he was telling me, like, I know what kind of lamp he's talking about. My grandmother had one. It was the thick ceramic, and she broke it one time, and I remember the shards of it were terrifying looking. And I was like, oh my God. Dude busted the lamp over his head and cut his face with it. And that's why it started thin and got wider, because as he went down, it went deeper and cut that wider. And I was like, oh my God, that sounds horrific. That was a fun dude to work for. A lot of times officers can be, because they're college kids, and they're like, I don't know. They're like, this guy was just, sometimes they just don't have enough sack. These young college kids, they just don't have any sack. This guy was all sack. Just, let's just do it. Screw it. Fuck it. We're doing it. And I'm like, all right, sir. It's one of the best dudes I ever worked for, because he knew where I was coming. When I would come to him with a problem, he knew where I was coming from, because we were on the same level, because he had already, a lot of times the big problem I always had with officers is they come out and they think they know everything. They come out of college and like, they did underwater basket weaving for 4 years. They come out and they think they can run a gun crew. And I'm like, sir, please just go to your stateroom, and if I need you, I'll call you to sign some papers. But they want to come in and they want to run stuff. And you're like, I got a question for you, sir. How many years did you do this in college? How many actual live fire gun shoots have you done? How many actual gun briefs have you done? How many times have you done a pre-fire? Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that. Phone rang. Spam. It's always spam. I never get actual calls, guys. It's always spam. I just got another one, and I was just delete. I'm sorry. I'm back. Don't go anywhere. Justin, shit. See, now everybody's leaving. Sent out to Medford. You're included. We included a route. Oh, you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to. I would have paid to send it back. They have a Medford. What is it? Justin, it's what? The Medford. Yeah, my car warranty. That's it. Exactly. It's always like, we'd like to talk to you about your car warranty. I've owned that car outright for 7 years. What makes you think I still have a warranty? The only thing that's under warranty is, because it's a diesel, the warranty on a lot of the stuff was extended to 100,000 miles. So the factory warranty. We'd like to talk to you about your extended warranty. I didn't get an extended warranty, and there's no way you're going to warranty a Volkswagen that I've got over 100,000 miles on, that I've owned since 2009. I've owned that car for, Jesus. Jeez. I've owned that car for a while. I didn't think I had that. Car's 12 years old. 12 years old, and I just hit 100,000 miles on it. And if you know anything about diesel engines, that means I finally broke it in. I'm finally through the diesel engine break-in. That car is going to fall apart before the engine stops. I already got a seat that I'm probably gonna have to replace, and the headliner and that thing needs to be redone. I mean, he's like, why don't you just buy a new car? I was like, because I don't pay anything on this one. I own both of our cars. I own both of our cars outright. We don't have a car payment. I own both the Prius and the Volkswagen. People are like, oh, you should just lease. Why? Why? The only thing I pay on those cars is the gas and the insurance. And the insurance on them isn't much because we don't drive. But my wife drives a lot. My wife's car is well over 100,000 miles now. Because for a long time, I mean, she was driving 5 days a week. Like I drive to Carlsbad, which is 42 miles. I take my daughter to Carlsbad on Thursdays to skate. That's 42 miles from the house. That's a 30-minute drive up, but a 30-minute drive back if traffic's not bad. So, what was that? I have a tendency to answer the telemarketers and stuff, and then I just put the phone on speaker, and or not even put it on speaker. I just put it on and then let them listen to whatever I'm doing. Now, I am not going to lie to you. I watch a lot of porn on my computer when there's no one here at the house. There's a lot of times that these telemarketers have gotten to hear stuff that they probably did not want to hear. I like to answer them when I get to talking to them. It's like, hey man, hey, what's going on? Just talk to them like that. Be like, hey, have you ever just tied someone down and cut them just to watch them bleed? And usually that ends the conversation really quickly. Like they usually don't stick around for anything after that. Just, I like fucking with people. Like if you're a telemarketer, you probably, like they're like, yeah, we're moving that guy from the list. Talking to me on the phone can be an experience. What are you doing right now? Hey, what are you doing? I'm not wearing pants. Or the best is if you're in the bathroom. We talk to him, he's like, yeah, I don't know about that one, but I mean, we could probably do a call next Tuesday and then flush the toilet. It's like, hang on a second. Oh, I gotta do a courtesy, and then flush the toilet, and then usually by that time they hang up. Yeah, that's a good one. I always liked Ben's Mortuary. You stab him, we slap him. You got to be careful how you do it though, because you don't want to do one like, hello, can you please help me? My parents have me locked in the basement. I managed to get to the phone. You know, that's not one you want to do. That has the police show up at your house. You know, like, I untied myself and got to the basement phone. Hello? I've been trying to call, but they've got a dial lock. Can you send someone to help me? Do that one and you get an unwanted visit. The cops show up, I'm like, motherfucker, I don't even have a basement. What are you talking about? You get your house searched and the shit that you don't want the state to know you have gets found. You know, it's all bad stuff. It's all a bad result. Be careful how you fuck with people. You got to know where to draw a line. It's no, but I have had the cops show up to serve a search warrant and they got the address wrong. They came knocking. It's like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. I opened the door. I got a gun in my face. And I'm like, okay, let's stay calm in this situation. This could be bad. And I told my wife, I was like, stay where you're at. Like she's getting ready to get out of bed. And I was like, stay in bed. And they pushed me through and they realized that they had it's really confusing where I live. They were on the wrong side of the street. There's another 6879 that happens to be abutting Parkside Avenue. It's right on Parkside Avenue. I am further in. That's actually 6879 Alpine, which is the little road that leads in, but it's right up against. And so the mistakes get made. And so when they put in their address, it was supposed to be for that place, but it brought them to my place. And they were like, their supervisor came running down the steps. No, guys, we got this. I was like, I am so sorry. Came back, they apologized. I was like, hey, I get it. Mistakes happen. At least I didn't fucking get a hole in my head. Because guess what I didn't do? I didn't run my fucking mouth. I didn't argue. I did what they told me. That's the best advice I can give any of you guys. Like, I don't care whether you like the cops or not. This is the best advice I can give you if you are approached by police and they have their weapons unholstered. Shut the fuck up. Best advice I could ever give anyone. Just shut up. See what's going on. If you know you did nothing wrong, you can get to the bottom of it pretty quickly. Like, hey, I think you might have the wrong house. Would you like to see? My wallet is right over there. Feel free to check all of my identification. I'm in my underwear. I don't have a weapon. Would you like them here? That's more comfortable for me. Can I do this? Like, I'll take my hat off. That way you make sure there's not a knife in there. I'll even do this, but it's more comfortable than this. Just do what you're told. This is a big thing I tell my daughter. She's at that age where she wants to argue and she bucks back on things. And I'll admit I'm not always right. But the fact is, I'm her father. And it's a life lesson to realize that there are a lot of times that if you just shut up and do what you're told, your life gets much easier. Especially if you are in the military. Shut up, do what you're told, your life gets easier. And a lot of times there's a specific reason why things are being done the way they are. Downrange, I had kids who were like, oh, we should do it this, we should do this, we should do this. I was like, right now, we're in a very, very dynamic situation. I don't have time to test new things. This is not a two-way conversation. We are doing it my way. We're doing it my way now, and it's going to get done. Shut up and do it. Now, when we got back to camp, I looked at all my guys and was like, okay, I realize there's probably better ways to do this, but testing a new method of doing something in the field during a convoy is not the best thing. If you have ideas, bring them to me. We'll evaluate them. If they work, we'll practice it and train it. So we're not trying something new in the spur of the moment when shit goes down. Do what you're told, when you're told. Life gets easier. When we have time to evaluate and maybe come up with a new procedure, we do it. We write it out. We look at the methodology. We look at the risks involved, how we can mitigate those risks. And then we do some training and maybe see if that's something we're going to execute in the future. A lot of times it's not time for two-way conversation. It's time to just shut up and do what I told you. So guys, 57 minutes. I don't like to make these live feeds any longer than an hour, but I do like doing the live feeds because it's fun. If you haven't dropped a like, I would appreciate it if you did. I'm not leaving quite this minute. I give you 2 minutes, but there's 12 people here. There's 15 likes. I know we had a lot of people in and out, so I would imagine that we usually, when I end these and I see like there's 12 or 13 people, I realize that there's like 40 or 50 views. So if you haven't, I'd appreciate it. But yeah, I'm gonna give you guys a couple more minutes here, and just this was just for fun. I know that the lack of content, I know it's definitely affected my monetization that I get. Like, I do know that the money from YouTube this month is way less than it was for the month of December, because I had videos stockpiled and stuff like that. I have not done a lot of videos, and the videos I have done have not all been the style videos you're used to. I did that video arcade thing, which is a blast, by the way. Unfortunately, I'm old enough that I have to use reading glasses to play it. So I know that that wasn't content. And we did a maker's shop video that's going up Tuesday. The videos that everybody like. I am currently carrying a Ferrum Forge Mordax, OG Mordax, the in-house shop build Mordax. But I actually have, and I had an idea for video. I was going to go to the Dollar Tree down here and see if they had sharpening stuff. And I was going to give an honest shot and see. This has been done in that gunmetal polish that I can do. It's a time-consuming finish, so it is a little expensive. It usually takes 24 to 48 hours to get this finish. It's time-consuming, but it pops with that blue all that blue hardware. And here, let's do this. The camera really doesn't do justice to that finish when you use the front facing camera. That finish and then all that blue hardware with just plain and simple. I like simple because I'm a simpleton. Maybe that's it. I like simple. I think, turn around, flip. I think a lot of times people will get these over the top finishes that they want and they think they're going to be something and they wind up being gaudy and ostentatious. I'm a big proponent of simple because simple a lot of times is elegant. This pops. That is an attractive finish. Just a blast and tumble bronze, polished blue hardware, and then that polished gunmetal finish. This is a great knife too. Nice, beefy, heavy. For a lot of people, they think it is a bit thick, but for my day-to-day tasks, I don't need the stuff I needed before. As I've gotten older, even a few years ago, if you watch videos from when I first started the channel, when I was more into the outdoor stuff, before I had my knee rebuilt, before I've had my 4th shoulder surgery, I did a lot of things then that I don't do now. And so a lot of times these people are like, oh, now you're pushing these artisan, it's because you're in bed. I was like, no, it's really not. The artisan and CJRB stuff I really like because they are well done budget knives. And the fact is, some of those budget knives and those steels, they meet my day-to-day requirement now. Like a lot of people don't like the AR PM9, even though I love it for what I use knives for now. Outpost 76 did a video and he did a lot of hammering and whacking and stuff. For me, that wouldn't be a steel I would ever think of doing that with. I have knives I can do that with. Something that's in 20 CV or more of like a Sandvik steel or the carbon steel like for my my Scandi that I've got, that Mora. But for my day-to-day tasks now that I do, I don't need those things. And so these budget knives are really appealing to me because a lot of times they're really pretty well done. And where you get your savings is the materials. So, liner locks. I wasn't a big fan of liner locks in the past because I have a tendency to bend the liner, the lock bar part of the liner, because I was hard on things. I'm not now. I'm not the outdoors guy that I used to be. I can lift this arm up. I've got to have surgery on this one because that's what I got here. I can't get this one up. And so I'm supposed to have surgery on this shoulder. I've had 4 surgeries on this shoulder. I've had 3 knee surgeries at this point. I don't need the robust outdoor knife. I still love them, but it's just, there's been changes in how I live my life over the last, guys, you've been watching me live my life. Like everything that happens in my life winds up here. You guys went on a trip with me to see my father before he passed. The last time I ever got to see my father, you guys were there for that. And so you've got to see the changes in my life over the last 5 years. And you've probably seen changes in the things that I do on the channel. And that's because as I've gotten older, I'm almost 50. I might not look like it sometimes, but I am coming up on 50 years old. I am past that turning point. I am closer to 50 than I am to 40. And I notice these things. So guys, I see people are leaving. It's been 63 minutes. I got to get off of here. I want to get some stuff done before the wife gets home. So I love all of you guys. It's so much fun to do these. The reason I do the live feeds, I don't make any money on these live feeds on YouTube. I do this because it's fun. I like to do the premieres because we interact, but this is my favorite thing on YouTube, is to do these live feeds because you guys are here. If you guys didn't interact, this would have been a much shorter live feed. I don't know if you've noticed that. The videos where we have more interaction, the live feeds when there's more interaction, those are the ones that get fun, and we just tell stories and just BS. That's a lot of fun, and I enjoy it. And there's a lot of live channels that don't, a lot of YouTube channels that don't do this, but this will always be part of this channel. But I do have to go. I love you guys. Keep an eye out. I have a video I'm going to post up about how I seal boxes. Because I don't want there to be an issue with all that stuff. And just keep in mind, if you guys want a sea snake, they sell out quick. So right now they are in stock in a couple places. They've been in stock, then out of stock, in stock, out of stock. So Artisan is probably your best bet. And remember, Artisan021 is my the code. It's a coupon code. It saves you 5%. So guys, take it easy. I got to run. I'll talk to you later.